You guys should know by now, if you see the pause symbol, pause the video. If you don't need to pause because you're taking good notes, just continue on with the rest of the presentation. So we keep saying this over and over and over, but then we go into the objective. The student will be able to estimate square roots. This will be done through a presentation and classroom activity. The reason I say estimate is calculating square roots. If you estimate it, you can get an approximate answer. That's what estimation means. Because if you really need to do square roots, I would suggest just using a calculator. But sometimes you can't use a calculator, you don't always have one, or the test doesn't allow it. So we're going to show you how to estimate it. But first, you need to know how to do exponents. So first, exponents is what you need to know. So we're just going to really quickly review exponents. So you guys shouldn't have seen this last video. So if you didn't watch the last video, you need to go watch it. 5 to the second power equals 25. It's just 5 times 5 equals 25. That's a perfect square. So if you didn't know, perfect squares are what's going to pop up here in a second. I think I have a multiplication table that comes up. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. So if you see in the yellow, all the way 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16. Those are all perfect squares. So when you're doing square roots, those are going to be easy. Because, for example, if we have the square root of 25, well, square root of 25, you're going to find out in a second, it's going to be 5. So 5 is the square root of 25, and all that means is 5 times 5 equals 25, so the square root of 25 equals 5. So another way to put it is I have 25 blocks over here. If you count them, there's 25. So we have those 25 blocks, and then we're going to have to rearrange them. So we're going to rearrange them. As I said, 25 square root of 25 equals 5. So we have 5 going down and 5 going over. So that's why it's a perfect square. It's how can we take those 25 bricks and do it so they're equal one side to the other side. It's about the best way I can say to do it. So equal one side times the other side. So 5 times 5 equals 25. So what times what equals 36? So if we take 36 blocks and we take those 36 blocks and we start lining them up, well, we can actually just pay out the multiplication table too. 6 times 6 is 36. I kind of highlighted it in there in red. It's kind of hard to see if you have a small computer screen or if you're looking at your phone. But if we put 6 cubes going left and right, and 6 cubes going up and down, we'll have 6 times 6, which will equal 36. So that's kind of easy when you guys have the perfect squares, where you have 6 times 6, 36. You have 2 times 2 is 4, and so on and so forth. But you guys need to pause the video and go back if that didn't make any sense, because we're going to do not perfect squares in a second, where it's not going to be 5 times 5 is 25. So we're going to show that right now. 28. So if you count those 28 blocks, I threw out 28 because we have to find the square root of 28. So let's try to kind of make this into a, okay, that didn't really work as a square. I have 6 times 4 with some extra cubes, and there's 2 missing, so that's not a perfect square. Let's try another one. Let's reconfigure it to this way. Okay, that's a square, but it's not a perfect square because one side has 4, the other side has 2, 4, 6, 7. So, again, not a perfect square. So how do we make this work? Well, the perfect square below is 25, which is 5 times 5, and the perfect square above would be 36, which is 6 times 6. So let's throw these on a number line. So we have 5 being the low end because we know it's between 25 and 36, and 6 being the high end. So we're going to have to number all those numbers in between. So 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. All the numbers in between there. And we put a halfway point. So halfway is going to be like right between 30 and 31. So it's actually like 30.5, I think. So we're going to find where does 28 lie in between 5 and 6. Well, 28, you guys see, is right there. It's about 3.3. And I say about, and we're going to use a special equal sign in a minute. And I don't think I used it on your guys' reviews, but you got to make sure you put the special equal sign because that means approximately. It means it doesn't equal exactly. It's about 5.3. So 28, the square root of 28 is 5.3. And the real answer is actually 5.3291, and it goes on with lots of numbers forever and ever and ever. So you could actually put 5.2 or 5.4. We're just counting approximate. It doesn't have to be perfect, just about what should the answer be. So next, 54. So let's find 54. Okay, so let's see. 54 is between 49 and 64, so it's between 7 and 8. So it's going to be 7 point something. So let's find out what this is. We're going to throw all those numbers back on there in a second. Got to wait for the video to catch up with me. Where are you? There you go. So it's between there. So we put 50, 51, all the way up to 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. So 54 is going to land right there. So it's about 7.4. Which in a minute you guys are going to find out it's not really, it's actually a little bit lower than that, but we're going to find out in a second. It's about, we're just saying, hey, what is it approximately? So 5.4 is approximately 7.4. I mean, this is 5.4. Square root of 54 is approximately 7.4, which it says 7.348. Why did you put 7.4, Mr. Beuthin? Because it's approximately. You could have put 7.3, 7.4, just anywhere in that given area. So if you need to pause and go watch that part, because that's the part we're going to be testing on, go back, watch that part before you get the kind of sample problems. So in a second, we're going to get the sample problems. Here you guys go. I'm going to give you a few answers. This is the approximate. So do these, and then they'll give a few answers for you to do. Please try all 4, because it shouldn't take you too long to do all of them. So I'll be quiet for a minute. When you're done, unpause it to see the answers. That was a long pause. Okay, so if you see that equal sign, it's actually supposed to be the little squiggly line, but I don't have like the squiggly line thing where I could just hit equals squiggly line thing. So, but any of those answers would be right, or if it's about that, it won't be perfect. Mr. Beuthin, just so you guys know, if it does come up, how can you figure out even a rough guess? So if you have a multiple choice test, and it says, what's the square root of 8? Well, clearly, if you had one of those 3 answers, you're going to be right. For example, like the square root of 8 on a multiple choice test, it might say like 2.7, 3.1, 1.2. So usually you can kind of guess which one it should be. And that's all I'm trying to get you guys to show is how can you figure out what the answer is. So recap, I've already wasted some of this recap time, but basically you take perfect squares, you put one on one side, one on the other, find the in-between number. Give me an approximate answer what it is. So the student will be able to estimate square roots. This will be done through a presentation and classroom activity. So usually you guys probably tune out by now, but just again as a recap, if you're going to actually need to find out the exact answer, it's best to use a calculator. So I'm just giving you a strategy to help you learn how to do square roots. So if you see it on a quiz, a test, a college entrance exam, something where you might not have a calculator or you can't use a calculator, you can still get the right answer.